are some of the most interesting professional service projects you have worked on among those you may share non-confidentially?
So yeah, a lot of the engagements I'm working on are pretty confidential, but I'll tell you that I've worked primarily. I said at the beginning, I've worked primarily with healthcare customers. As I said, I'm a networking and security specialist, so to me, that's making sure that, and in particular, I've been doing a lot of one sort of product, NSX, and in particular, we have this program called Virtual Cloud Foundation, and that's about customers building a data center. It's essentially, if you've heard of AWS, Amazon Web Services, or Azure, like we call those public clouds. A private cloud is the same. You get all the same services, but in a private data center. And that's really important for healthcare because they want to make sure that they have data sovereignty about where that data is located. And that's really important. So, and banks do this too. Defense does that too. Like, everyone needs to have on-prem data centers. And that's really, really cool. So we could give them the platform to start that. So it's called the Virtual Cloud Foundation. I've been doing a lot of deployments of those for healthcare so that healthcare customers can start with, okay, we've got our cloud, but it's ours, and we don't need to go to AWS, and it's also a lot cheaper. So it works out quite good. And seeing the healthcare sort of what requirements they have and etc. is really important. As I was saying, there's a lot of like workspace stuff. So end user computing is also really important. I'm not a specialist in that. Actually, I know the pitch of how it works, but it's not my specialization. But if you're interested in enabling people and making sure devices all work together, and that part is really important for healthcare too. I know my co-grad that's joined with me, Jason, he's really into end user computing and making sure that all works. And he's actually working with another big healthcare customer, actually the same one, doing that stuff for them as well. So there's multiple engagements for the same customer, which is kind of cool. So you're all like one team and you're representing different stakeholders, which I really like. And I'd say that's one of the most interesting ones. I think Kalani, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we accept degrees from any sort of degree. It doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, look, yeah, exactly. But there's no specific criteria that you have to have had, a specific degree. And we've shared stories today about how people have come and how myself have come into a role that doesn't necessarily align with your undergraduate degree or your degree that you're studying now. But I will say, in a pool of 200 people or 100 people, if you do have a degree that aligns a little bit more to the role you're applying for, probably is an edge, if I'm being completely honest. So if you are applying for a sales role, having a bit of a marketing business background or a business background is probably a little bit more beneficial. On the flip side, if you've got a technical, if you're applying for professional services, you've got a technical background, probably a little bit more of an edge, for you to stand out amongst, 50 or 120, 200 applications. So that obviously is a standout point, but I am very busy when I screen candidates. I do speak to as many candidates as I can. I'm not trying to filter people out. I want to filter people in. So that does mean that I speak to as many people as I can. So don't necessarily have all the boxes, or you don't have a degree that aligns with the role you're applying for. That doesn't mean you're eliminated from the process.
Reference. I'm in professional services. I did 2 degrees. I did electrical engineering and physics. Definitely super technical. Don't get me wrong. And one of them did just IT at UTS, and one of the grads we just hired for this year did sound engineering. So he's technical, but it's not related. And actually, one of the guys we hired for professional services actually did a law degree. Yeah. So not technical at all. He was a self-starter. We thought he was going to do a great job, and we hired him.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're really excited about. I think those are we almost get more excited with those kinds of people as well when you've got different backgrounds, because you've got different perspectives and as well looking at things. So, and that's
diversity of thought. Yep.
Diversity of thought.